Welcome to Yerravalli IT Simplified. I am Rajeshkumar, and today I will walk you through how I harden a Linux server against SSH brute force attacks using real-world techniques that you can apply right away. What is brute force attack? Brute force attacks are automated attempt to guess your SSH credentials, usually by hammering the login screen with thousands of username and password combinations. If left unchecked, they can slow down your server, flood your logs, and even lead to unauthorized access. My server setup. For this demo, I used Ubuntu 24.04 LTS server running on SSH, Apache, and MySQL server. It was exposed to the internet or with a direct public IP and the default SSH port, making it prime target. Symptoms I noticed. I started noticing high CPU usage, delays in SSH login, and a flood of failed login attempt. In bad log, auth log, that's when I know it was time to act. Now we can see step-by-step process, hardening process, how we can secure our Linux machine using SSH key authentication and disable routine password authentication and disable root login and like permit root login, no, and disable X forwarding or disable use spam or create any secure sudo privilege user, and also disable 22 port and use any unusable port for customization port, and also use iptables or iptables to block like a firewall. Also install fail to ban and block any certain repeated IPs or maybe retrial time period. And also use strong authentication policy like MFA and complex password things. Now we can see step by step a practical move. Any server, whether internal or external, could be vulnerable to compromise due to weak password mechanism and improper hardening. The server version is LTS 2404 and its IP address is 192.168.56.4. This is the demo lab setup that I am demonstrating here, which has network and internet access for communication outside. So this is my parrot machine. Already the version is 6.4 and the IP address is 19.174 is the bridge, and also the another communication 56.7. It's 592 series. So I am remotely logged in this machine in the terminal side to easy demonstrating. Yeah, this is where I am logged in my parrot machine. Yeah, the same machine, because it is simultaneously we can show easily comparison. Yeah, this is the version actually. So I'm preparing here actually for password and authentication date user list. So two modules I prepared here. One is the compromising and one is the brute force attacking. See, I'm starting here one kind of tool Hydra for starting the brute force attack. So as soon as I'll execute this command and start the brute force, the target machine is flooding the log file. Automatically it increasing with the source of the IP address. The source of the IP address is 56.7. So as I informed you, and also the log is flooding. And also the server performance is also slightly decreasing, and the CPU and memory and slightly increasing as soon as continuously the brute force is running. Automatically the server also maybe got shut down in some situation, or maybe some situation some servers also get to hang out. Now I'm showing how to compromise the machine if the password is weak. Now I prepared some customization using my weak password for the compromise the machine. The same command line utility works here, Hydra. I'm replacing the weak password list. So now I started 56.4. Now flood also is started here. The machine also got compromised because it's a weak password. The password is password. So we'll try to connect them remotely using of this compromised credentials. Now see, I got the console, the same console using of the credentials 56.4 and the same source and target, the same machine. So using of these kind of method, we can brute force the target server and also compromise the machine if the credentials are weak. Now we will start the hardening process step by step. SSH key authentication. I am using here EDDSA, ED25519, Edward Curve Digital Signature Algorithm. It's a more secure than RSA, but you can still use RSA. So this process makes brute force attacks virtually impossible. Generating key authentications. So once you generated, so there are public and private keys, both keys are generated. So you can use copy command, SSH copy ID command to copy the public key to the target server, which you want to make secure. Starting copy. Now give the password of the server. Now the public key has been copied to the remote location. Then you can try to access the server. Yes. So here password is asked to log in the server, not password. So instead of password, you can access the machine with password of the key generated. That is secure. See, the IP also is there, 56.4 is the server IP address. So we have logged in the securely with the using of SSH key authentication. Now we can edit the SSHD configuration file, further changes. Find the password authentication. And make it now disabled. And also permit root login and disable the root login access. And find X11 forwarding. So this is a completely optional, but if you want, you can. This process cannot process GI based applications in the remote machine. And also use spam also you can disable. Once everything is done, save the configuration and restart the SSD service. Now create a separate user with sudo privileges for making accountability. Yeah, creating the user. Just enter and give the password already. Whatever you have chosen, just enter and add the user in the sudo group. Now user has been created. This is for separate accountability for security. Now edit the SSD configuration once and change the port 22 because I disabled the root login and entire things and sudo privileges, and also change the default port from 22 to unused double to port. It is a simple trick that judges most automated scans. Now, starting the UFW process, I am using UFW process to block SSD port and enable 4242 port in the firewall level, and delete the default 22 port if allowed. Just see the status. Yeah, see the status, and there is already allowed in the 2222 port. So we have changed the port as well in the configuration file and in the firewall level. And let's restart the service once. Sometimes maybe you might need a restart server as well, because all the changes made effective need to working properly. Then sometimes it will ask to restart the server. This is optional. Now try to log in with a customized changed port with the default SSH passphrase. See, here I'm logged in the passphrase using and port number 2222. Passphrase also. Instead of password, I have logged in the successfully with the remote server using passphrase with a customized port. Now server is 56.4. Now next go to the fail to ban the service, firewall level service. You can install. If you don't have the installed the previously one, you can just install. You can see the status. Yeah. The command line interface also, you can enable and disable the proper IP address if you found. Two ways are there, like CLI mode and graphical user interface. You can also use CLI mode like SSD ban IP like this. Or also you can use check the status. So also you can use unban IP. This is also optional, but GA you can do anything. Go to directory etc fail to ban directory. There is a file jail.configuration file. You can just copy. I already copied here jail.local, but just I'm returning once again. Don't edit the main configuration file. You can copy jail.local and you can try to edit the file. Configuration changes whatever you need as per requirement, just jail.local file. Yeah. So find the ban time IP, 1 hour or 24 hours as per requirement, and find time also and maximum jittery periods. These three you can make the changes as per your requirement. And also go to SSD configuration jail and find the options here, port number and log path and backend. You can just make the changes. Enable SSD configuration access and port number 2222 and log path backend. You can just disable the mirror things, whatever above, and enable newly edit things and just restart the fail to ban service as well. save the configuration and start the service and enable the service. And status of service. Yeah, everything is done and service is also up and running. Now next go to password complexity settings. You can use password QC software. You can just also install it if you don't have previously one and edit the proper configuration and maximum time and the password space, match time, similar random, enforce complex. The password you can make the complex. Whatever things you need the as per your requirement, you can just configure and edit the file. This is the creating the password complexity and also enable MFA using Google authentication or something. So finally, monitor and alerts. I set up logwatch and UFW to monitor activity and send an email alerts. Weekly audit reports help me stay ahead of any suspicious behavior. After hardening, we will also try once again the brute force attack and also log in from remote machine. So we will see how to execute this process. I've started the process already. Starting, there is no any log flooding still now. So could not connect. See, we don't know port, right? So default that can be executed with the default 22, but the prompt is could not connect. And try to log in from remote. Same kind. Using of default port. So brute force attack is failed. No, still not able to connect. No prompt indicating. We will try to use custom port. We'll see. No, permission denied. So this kind we can reduce and harden our server securely. So permission denied on other machines because password is prompt on the key generation machines. Correct. This machine has access to the private key. Use it for authentication. Then you can able to access from the generated machine to the server. But permission denied or password prompt on other machines because of that other machines does not contain any private key information. So that is the reason these other client machines don't have access to the private key when they try to connect the server. So how to fix the authentication on other machines? Create a new key pair on each client machine. You must generate a unique key pair on every client machine that needs to connect to the server. Never copy a private key from computer to another, as this compromise security. Results after hardening. After applying these changes, failed to login attempt dropped drastically. The server's performance stabilized and finally had peace of mind and denied every access from remote attacking site. Summary and takeaway. To recap, SSH is powerful, but it needs protection. A layered approach port changes, multi-factor authentication, fail to ban, and key authentication make your server resilient against brute force attacks. Thank you. Have you hardened your SS setup? Drop your favorite tip in the comments. Subscribe to Yerravalli IT Simplified for more real-world security tutorials. Join the IT community, simplifying tech one video at a time.